quick one. So I'm assuming that you've already played the regular Battleship, so now I'm doing one with conversion. So you can see I have the two sheets set up here. I have my guesses and I have my enemy guesses. Notice that there's only two ships, and I've shrunk the circle down to just be a radius of 1 or 2. So I can now only put my ships on a radius of 1 or a radius of 2. This will make the game go a little faster the second time around. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how the guesses work. So now, let's say I put my ships here and my opponent goes first. And they say that their guess is going to be 1 pi over 4. We expect that to be, that's not a great example because it's like kind of where it should be. Let me do 1 pi over 3. Okay, we expect 1 pi over 3 to be up here. That's radius 2 radius, so 1 pi over 3 would be right here where my pointer is, okay? But it's off. So what's going on here? In this game, I changed the table to only accept coordinates inputs that are rectangular. So what this graph was, it went to the right 1 and it went up pi over 3, which is just about 1 unit, okay? So that's not where we expect. So you're not allowed to input rectangular coordinates. Here's how you have to play instead. If you wanted to get 1 pi over 3 as your coordinate, again, we want that kind of showing up like right here where my pointer is. You have to convert to rectangular. So first of all, I'm going to make sure what mode I'm in. And you can do this in either mode. I'm going to stay in radian mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 1 times the cosine of pi over 3. And remember, this is our formula to convert our polar coordinates into rectangular. So that'll be my x coordinate that I want to report to my opponent. Then I do 1 times the sine of pi over 3. And that will be my y coordinate. And I'm going to report these in decimal form, carried out to 3 decimals. I don't need to round. I'm just going to chop it off, give them 3 decimals and chop it. That's called truncation. So then I'm going to report, let's say this is what I would report. 0.5 for my x coordinate. Whoops. 0.5 for my x coordinate. And 0.866 for my y coordinate. And we can see that turns up right where I wanted it to be. I want it to be a radius of 1 at pi over 3. So since the grid is in polar, you've got to decide your spot in polar, and then you have to put it into our format to change polars into rectangulars. Remember, our formula for that is always going to be radius times cosine of theta and radius times sine of theta for my x and y. So let's try again. Let's get another point. Let's say we want to do this point over here, a radius of 2 and a 5 pi over 6. So I'm going to go radius of 2, cosine 5 pi over 6. That's going to be my x coordinate of my rectangulars. And then I'm going to go 2 sine of 5 pi over 6. That'll convert to my y coordinate. And this is what I would report to my enemy or opponent. Let's see here. My x coordinate would be negative 1.732. I go to 3 decimals. And then my y coordinate would be 1. And that's right where I wanted it to be, right? A radius of 2, 5 pi over 6. So it's approximating, but it's close enough. And that'll help us practice without doing a whole worksheet of conversion. So I would report back to my enemy, sorry you missed, and they would record that rectangular coordinate and their guesses under a miss. So just to be clear, on the other side, since it was reported that that was a miss, this person would put negative 1.732 for their x and 1 for their sine. It's rectangular over here as well. So if I zoom in, there's my 5 pi over 6 radius of 2, and it shows up as a miss. So you want to find, in your mind, you want to find the coordinates in polar, and then you have to do this to convert to rectangular and tell them the x and y coordinates. So this means, again, that I went left 1.7 and up 1 to get there. That's the same way to get there as if I rotate 5 pi over 6 and then walk a radius of 2. Those are the same location. So that's how you're going to play this one. It's all the same rules, except you've got to convert on your calculator before you report your guesses.